bit of spaghetti sauce on me, but it's Union spaghetti sauce.
Can't even see it.
Good. Bit of spaghetti sauce on me, but it's Union spaghetti sauce.
There's no better spaghetti sauce than Union spaghetti sauce.
All right. My words were just repeated back to me somehow.
That was the live stream. We are live.
We're live? All right, we're good to go. So everybody out there knows that I spilled a little spaghetti on me. All right, thank you, everybody. I'm going to call, we good to go? That's everybody out of the waiting room?
They continue to trickle in, but
Okay. All right, I would call this meeting of the West Virginia State Democratic Executive Committee to order. Thank you, everybody, for being on time and attending. Appreciate you. And I will start actually by asking for a moment of silence. And if you could, keep in mind the Armintrouts, who Jason is apparently doing a lot better, but they've been through a lot this past month. Two members of our executive committee, and Jason's been in the hospital for a while, but apparently is doing much better. But if you could still, during this moment of silence that you can use as you see fit, just please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you very much. Ryan, do you have a flag image you could share?
1 second.
Okay. I would ask that everybody except Judy Stevens, could you lead us in the pledge, and everybody else, could you please mute your mics?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Judy, and thank you, everybody, for muting your mics. That went a lot smoother. I would now ask the secretary to call the roll.
All right. Hi, everyone. Also, before I call the roll, if you speak up at all during the meeting, whether you're making a motion or seconding a motion or speaking to the good of the order, if you could just make sure you say your first and last name. Oftentimes I'm looking at my other screen and I don't know everyone's voice. So if you could do that, that would make things go smooth. All right. We have Chair Pushkin.
Here.
First Vice Chair Torasiva.
Here.
Second Vice Chair Sam Petzonk. I think Sam was joining by phone. We'll circle back and make sure he's here with us. Elnaz Ramapur. Jared Powell.
Here.
Selena Vickers. Pam Tucker-Klein.
Here.
Chris Pennington. Stephanie Tamana.
Here.
Cody Thompson.
Here.
Jenny Craig, present. Christina Baisden.
Here.
John Doyle. Okay, Nikki Lauer.
That's you.
Here.
Kyle Carlson.
Here.
Olivia Dowler.
Here.
Pam Van Horn.
Here.
Sean Hornbuckle. I think I saw that he was connecting a bit ago. Okay. Circle back to Sean. Mike Wolfel. Cindy Lavender Bow.
Here.
Troy Miller.
Here.
Gabe Pena. And Cal, you are proxy for Dottie, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
and then Olivia, you are proxy for Ariana.
Yes.
Okay. Josiah Sorrent,
Present.
James Griffin. Ray Whiting. Natalie Klein. Natalie. And Tim, you are proxy for Kathy Link, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Glenn Elliott.
Here.
Thank you. Mike Trobert. Mike, are you joining us by phone with the 845 number? I heard some static. We'll check back in. I see Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hi there.
Barb Scott.
Here.
Kim From. You have Kim with us. Okay. Sunny Oakland.
Here.
Judy Stevens.
Here.
Jerry Brookover. Simon Hargis. Bonnie Fruth. Tess Jackson. Ben Barkey.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, Tess, thank you.
Present.
Ben, present. Thank you, Ben. Floyd Sayer.
Here.
Stephanie Heck. Tammy Pritt. Ken Hicks. Deb McCarthy. Thought I saw Deb a second ago. Are you on with us still, Deb? I'll check back. I know I saw her pop up. Marcus Wilkes.
Jen,
Hey,
I'm here.
There she is.
It's Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
Okay.
What about Marcus? Mary Ann Clater. Spiro Mateus. Farron Williamson. Amanda Eastep Burton.
I'm here.
Thank you. Amanda Shelton. Keith Lottie.
Present by audio.
Thank you. Christy Cardwell.
Present.
Ken Elkins. And Christy, you are carrying Robert Baker's proxy.
I'm carrying it.
Okay, thank you. David Thompson.
He's trying to get on right now.
Okay. Diane Browning.
Here.
Terry Rodabaugh. Jamie Spencer.
And I'm here. Terry Rodaball's present. Thank you.
Terry. We have Damie with us. Okay. Devin Spinks.
Here.
Rachel Tompkins.
Here.
Sean Young.
Here.
Oh, I skipped Brenda Weiss. Clara McKenzie. Susan Miley. Ryan Deems. Bob Stoltz. Belinda Biefer.
Here.
Thank you. Marty Schamberger.
Here.
Joey Garcia.
Here.
Dina Armentrout.
Here.
Thank you, Dina. Candy Sisler. Jason Armentrout. Randy Titchnell. Dorothy Kangla.
Here.
Thank you. Virginia Sign.
Charlie, they're getting close to your name. Charlie.
Is Virginia on with us?
She's trying to get on by phone.
All right, thanks. Richard Rector. Is Richard
Here.
on?
Here.
Hi, Richard. And Charlie's on? Charlie Streisel?
Yes, he's on.
Okay, thank you. Cheryl Lawrence. Maria Russo. Ken Collinson.
Here.
Thank you. Mac Halderman.
Present.
Thank you. Bonnie Brown. Patty Hamilton.
Here.
Richie Robb.
Here.
Okay, and David Tucker.
Jenny, I see Bonnie Brown,
Okay.
but she's muted. Mhm.
Okay,
She's
thank
at
you
the
very
top of my
much.
screen. Hi, Bonnie.
This is Michael Trobert. Can you hear me that I am in the meeting?
I can, yep. I'll go back and mark you present. What
you.
about David Tucker? Okay, did I miss anyone else that did not hear their name or joined after?
Doyle.
Okay, thank you, John. And we do have a quorum. If for some reason you, if anyone joins, I'll catch them and add them to the minutes as well. And Sam, I see Sam, he's here. I'll update it as well. All right, we do have a quorum.
I'm here as well, Jenny.
Sean, thank you.
Hornbuckle. Okay, we got Hornbuckle and Garcia here. Good.
Perfect.
Was Minority Leader Wolfle here? I don't believe so. We'll wait. Okay, and thank you very much, Jenny. We do have a quorum.
this is Tammy.
And the minutes. I'm sorry, I'm getting an echo there.
Well, this is Tammy Pritt, and I'm present.
Okay, Tammy Pritt's here. Thank you.
you,
Anybody else that we missed? Okay, thank you very much.
David
every-
Thompson's on. I'm not sure if you got him.
David Thompson is on the call, Jenny. You got
Okay.
him?
Tammy Pritt,
Okay.
David Thompson. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? All right, everybody should have received the previous minutes from our secretary, and now entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve. Anybody willing to make that motion?
This is Michael Trobert. I'd be willing to make that motion.
Michael Trobert made the motion. Do we have a second?
Judy Stevens has second.
Judy Stevens seconded. Okay, discussion? Any amendments to the minutes? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. We have approved the previous minutes. Thank you. We'll now move on to the filling of vacancies. Do we have any nominations here in this last scheduled meeting of the term to fill any vacancies? Any nominations? Okay. On hearing none, I'm going to move on to reports. And while we have Senator Garcia and Minority Leader Hornbuckle with us, I'm going to ask them to give a legislative update.
Awesome, awesome. Appreciate that, Mike. And I will try to put my video on here. I'm actually running in the store right now. But good to see all y'all out today. This past legislative session was a very interesting one from the standpoint of it was busy but quiet. There were a lot of bad things that happened. In my opinion, I think the whole state was watching in shock and disgust as the last minutes ran out. We were debating a very contentious bill, and I say debating, but not very much because it was intentionally put at the back of the agenda so that time would run out. But that was Rayleigh's Law, and I know again a lot of you all have followed that for several years. As we've had a champion in the House, Delegate Fluharty, who's now running for Senate, who's run that. And that is an effort, in short, to protect children, when making predatory parents or guardians that are pulling them out of school and trying to help with that. And so that was very, very disheartening to see. Doing well to see during the last moments of session. They also tried to pass some other wild bills that were in the Senate, such as the machine gun law, which was crazy in itself. And I'll let Joey sort of talk to you about those those Senate shenanigans. In the House, it was a lot of do nothing, in my opinion. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that there were a couple of bills that passed, including portable benefits and Recharge West Virginia, which were meant to reskill our labor force and help with that and help business owners. But that was about it of the good. There were a couple other bills that passed. The ALS bill, a very good bill. Delegate Kaylee Young was spearheading that, and she's fought very hard for that. So we're super appreciative of that. I was also had the opportunity on a West Virginia Summer Youth Employment and Career Readiness Bill, which I think actually ironically dovetailed with what the majority tried to do in regards to jobs. But I think it's going to go a step further in getting our children across the state opportunities for summer employment, but not just that. Again, getting them ready for the workforce, and some kids, quite frankly, that just don't have enough, and helping them to earn a couple extra dollars to help out them and their families during the summer and putting them on the right path. So those are some of the things, again, that we did from the House perspective. I'll sort of ping pong it to Joey to talk a little bit more about the Senate as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. And, I think he's exactly right. I think it was most of the session felt like we weren't really doing a whole lot. It was quiet. In the Senate, probably about, I don't know, it'd be about day 40, 45, we started having, especially out of the Senate Judiciary Committee, all of these really bad ideas. Like it's like it was up to that point. It's like, okay, we're not dealing with kitchen table issues that we should be, but we're not doing the most harmful things. And then, I mean, it was so bad, I wrote a song about it and put it on social media. And someone asked me, they said, well, those are all the bad things you've done during session. It was one verse of "We Didn't Start the Fire" that I just put some different, topics in there. And I was like, no, that was 3 days. That was really bad. And he talked about the machine gun bill. There were things related to a lot of kind of adjacent immigration stuff, and especially after all of the issues that we've seen this year in Minnesota, and we've seen this come to West Virginia as an issue, and how ICE has really been very inhumane, and this governor has tried to actually bring in state police and corrections to be a part of that, and I think that. We saw some things about that were disheartening, including a human smuggling bill that was not anybody would be against human smuggling, but there was a bill that literally tried to, say that, whether you're an individual, a nonprofit, a church, you can't help people, and had very unclear language about that. Going towards the end, I mean, a couple things that I could talk about that are positive, because there are always some positives, and I think that's what we try to do. We try to figure out where we can collaborate and where we can highlight things that people really need. And there was a child care bill that wasn't everything, but it was a good foundational piece. And again, I know on the House side, my colleagues over there, and especially Kaylee Young, but many of them had made sure that that was able to get through, and then it passed through the Senate. And it's been about 6 years trying to get something like that done to help stabilize child care providers, provide the ability for businesses to do more and get some more tax credits with that, and generally help families with access and with affordability there. So that was a good thing. I got a mine inspector, health and safety positions in West Virginia. They got a $5,000 pay increase, first time in over 15 years, and that was honestly, it's like a swan song for Senator Mike Caputo. That was his bill for a long period of time. And I was fortunate to be able to just introduce it last year, introduce it this year, again, really in his honor, and with working with Chad Francis from UMWA and others to try to get something that will help protect our miners. So I thought that was a good thing. But overall, one of the big things, Sean talked about Rayleigh's Law, which was probably one of the most emotional couple of days. It was something that initially, both sides, I remember on day 48 reading bills in the Senate to try to protest the fact they wouldn't let a discharge motion even come up to a vote for Rayleigh's Law. And then on the House side, they immediately took that and put the pressure on and almost got a bill through the House, but were kind of fed a line about, they basically did it too late. And unfortunately, that's something I think we've seen from House leadership is try to act like they're on our side and then ultimately not really come through at the end. But we fought and had a nice coalition of people on day 59 that got a vote through on Rayleigh's Law and actually overturned a ruling of the president so that we could vote on that and send it to the House, which makes it even harder, the fact that it didn't get through at the very end because of really a handful of people made the trouble, but then unfortunately there's a number of people that did not vote to bring it up immediately. And those people, that's something that should be a campaign issue this year. If somebody's on, there's a roll call related to an Elliott print motion that would have had that bill up for immediate consideration right around, I think, 10:30 that night, maybe even before then, that, if they voted against that roll call, they voted to support child abusers. And it's plain and simple. And I hope every candidate across the state of West Virginia, if you're running for House or on the Senate side, again, there are people that voted against this bill. We have to be very clear about what that was. But the last thing I'll touch on is school funding. And that's one thing we keep hearing from our superintendents, from our boards, and we hear about consolidation of schools. And we had a lot of talk about that, and also a lot of talk about pay raises for teachers above 3% for teachers and school service personnel. And it was only talk. We ended up funding the Hope voucher for over $300 million. Yet we did not do anything to try to actively increase funding for schools, including special education services, which we heard this year, $230 million, I believe, is how much schools are not getting reimbursed to pay for these types of services. And that's putting schools all over the state of West Virginia underwater. And so, when it comes to actually paying attention to what our school systems need, the Republican majority did not do it. They could talk about it all they want, but when schools start closing the next couple of years, and they have been closing the last couple of years, we have to point a finger and say there's been the ability to try to change that, and the Republicans did not want to do it. And we've been fighting for that. So that's where I'll leave it. I appreciate everyone who throughout the session, I think, supported us, words of encouragement, ideas, and really just getting the message out there about what is the difference between Democrats and Republicans, because there is a real difference, and that has to lead into these elections, not only with trying to bring in independents in the primaries, but when it comes November, we have a great slate of candidates, and I'm feeling very optimistic about what we'd be able to do this year. So thank you.
Just to button that up, and And Joey's so right talking about the difference between Republicans and Democrats, especially this session. He touched on that hope. That hope funding, as we all know, is woefully out of control. I was speaking on the House floor about that. We have an uncapped system, and Joey touched on almost $300 million. And I talked about how many potholes could we fill with that? Could we, and we know we could, fund special education with that? Better teacher pay raises, cost of living adjustments for our retirees. There's so much money that could go to because that money also came out of surplus, which I asked extensively, can this money be used for everything and anything? And the answer was yes. And so when you look at that, then you also look at the tax cut. So there was a 5% tax cut that amounts to about $68 in the average West Virginia household's pocket in a year, for the tune of $125 million. Totally unacceptable. And Joey talked about roll calls. I had an amendment that was, I feel that we are not in a place to be able to lower our state income tax. However, if we're going to do so, I think we should do it like this. And so again, I offer the amendment that was going to make it any income up to 25,000 was 0% tax income, 0%. And then every other bracket would still see a reduction. And so that came in at a fiscal note that was a lot less expensive than their 10% tax cut that the governor talked about for almost a year, slightly above their 5%. But that was a roll call that was voted down. And I made the point that, again, over 65% of the tax cut was going to affect just 20% of the wealthiest West Virginians, whereas mine and ours, not just mine, but ours, the Democrats, was going to help everybody, especially those on low income. So that lets you know where they're at. But then the good stuff, again, thank you to Senator Garcia. I got the pay raise for mine inspectors, Delegate Kayla Young, that led the charge on ALS. I led the charge on the West Virginia Summer Youth Employment Bill. But two things that we haven't talked about, and I want to wrap up with that, was we have fought very hard. And Evan Hansen has had his feet in the fire on this, but we were able to get $30 million appropriated through work over several years to water infrastructure. Although we are not out of the woods on clean drinking water, we were able to really help with that. And then for the first time ever, as I tried last year, was unable to do it. And it was a little bit less than what I wanted, but we were still able to get $5 million to the Flood Resiliency Fund, the first time in our state's history that has been funded. And so while, Republicans did what they normally do and things that are regressive, we have a lot of hope. Because we have some great Democrats that are changing the narrative. We are forcing them to move in the direction of kitchen table issues while they did not touch utility rates or your rent. All right. But we are making them as best as we can move towards everyday West Virginia issues. And that's something to be proud of. And I'm great to do that with the Garcias and the Pushkins of the world. And we're going to be great come this election time. And so I'm excited about that.
Thank you very much, Senator Garcia, Minority Leader Hornbuckle. I know firsthand the work that was done during the session. And I'm going to make a couple comments that'll lead right into the chair's report to keep us on schedule here. And while there were some good things, don't get me wrong, while there were some good things to come out of the session, not the least of which was Sean Hornbuckle's bill to restart the summer work program. That was a great program. It never should have been defunded and ended. I mean, I know there's probably a few people on this call that when they were younger might have benefited through that program, but that program is for our kids, our high school kids that need many from more challenged areas, challenged parts of this state, to give them job training and work and a paycheck throughout the summer. That's a huge bill. That was no small feat getting that passed. That's something a lot of us have been trying to get restarted for a long time. Sean was able to do it this year. So definitely I would commend Minority Leader Hornbuckle for his work on that bill. Also, the bills that Kayla Young has been working on for years in regards to child care, they were rolled into one bill. It is monumental that was able to get passed this year. Now we're all waiting for the governors. They haven't been signed by the governor yet. So hopefully these bills still don't get vetoed and the governor signs them into law. But those were two very good things. Joey's work with giving the mine safety inspectors a raise, also huge. Now, what the Republicans are going to tout as their uh, crowning achievements, depending on how you look at it, what they're talking about is 5% tax cut. We know that 5% doesn't mean a lot to working class people. It means a hell of a lot more to millionaires and billionaires because that's a progressive tax. And you cut 5%. If you're a billionaire, you're cutting a hell of a lot more than if you're anybody on this call. And if you're a billionaire on this call, my apologies, but I don't know a whole lot here. This does not help working class people. What we tried to do was get some relief in regards to utility rates, and instead the Republicans made that worse with the last minute effort to narrow our energy portfolio at the last minute, which is going to cause everybody's electric rates to go up. Now, the other thing that they're going to claim as a victory is the pay raise, a 3% pay raise. Meanwhile, if you're a state employee or retiree on this call, you know that doesn't do shit. Pardon my language. Doesn't do anything because your insurance premiums have gone up over 50% since 2023. So that 3% pay raise doesn't offset your premium increases. It is just a shell game, but they're going to claim that as a success. The other thing that they're claiming as a success is what they say is fully funding the Hope Voucher Program, nearly $300 million. We don't even know what it's going to cost because they made this crazy amendment a few years ago to open it up to everybody, even families that have never set foot inside of a public school. They're opening it up to them as well. We don't even know how much that's going to cost, but they put $300 million to it. What Senator Garcia said is true, while not putting anything into public education. Anyway, anything that they claim as a victory is going to be overshadowed by what happened literally at the 11th hour in the House of Delegates when they filibustered a bill to protect children. I'm going to say this and then move on to my report just to be very clear exactly what Rayleigh's Law is and what it isn't, because there's a lot of misinformation. All that bill said was if a child in a public school, if a report is filed by a mandatory reporter, an employee of that school, a teacher, if they file a report to CPS, it simply puts a 10-day hold before the family can remove the child from school. That would prevent families from trying to hide abuse. People use loopholes in the law. Bad people use loopholes in the law to try to hide their children from reporters because they're abusing these kids. I don't understand why anybody would be against that. It has absolutely nothing to do with homeschooling. It has everything to do with just guardrails in place to protect children. That bill would save lives. And unfortunately, every year that they don't pass it, we're hearing of more and more horrific incidents where children lose their lives. So you cannot tell me you are pro-life or pro-child or pro-family and then vote against that bill. Most of the Republicans voted for a last minute amendment that killed the bill. So they might tell you that they supported it. Well, proof is in the roll call. I've sent out that roll call. The roll call on the Berkhammer amendment, there were 69 Republicans that voted for it. Not a single one of them can tell you they supported that bill. Because if you're voting for an amendment at 11:57 on the last night of session, you're killing a bill. That's it. Anyway, anything that they did was overshadowed by that. I'm gonna move on to my report. Look, this is our last scheduled meeting of our term. Cannot thank you enough for your participation on this committee, for stepping up and being leaders in your community and helping to continue to grow this party to where we are now. And we should be proud of the work that we've done over the past 4 years. And I believe when in 2022, when this when this current form of this committee first came in, we did start working on reorganizing at the local level. I believe since then we have nearly a dozen new county executive committees. Right now, there are two counties that have no executive committees at this point, just two. And I'm happy to say that one of those, Grant County, is currently organizing. So the goal is to have all 55 counties on board. Now, why is this important? Because if you look at the recruitment effort that we had this year, where we are able to compete in nearly every single legislative race. We're competing at most of our county races. We have uh, uh, competitive primaries at the top of the ticket in both of our congressional districts and for our statewide race. That didn't happen overnight. That didn't happen with work that started this year. That work started back even prior to 22. For those of us who've been working on this for a long time, and I see Chair Beafor on here as well. I thank you as well for the preliminary work that went into all of this. This didn't start, yesterday. This started a long time ago. This work to rebuild our infrastructure at our county level, so we were able to identify and recruit good candidates. I've said for a long time, the candidate is like the product. The party is the delivery mechanism, and we were able to deliver. Now, we would like to compete at every single race we have on the ballot. I would have liked to have filled every single slot on the ballot. That's the goal. But we filled a lot more, made huge improvements, uh, over the past few cycles. And this is why it is important. We just heard our legislative report, and this is why I wanted them to go first. What we did has already made a difference. A lot of the bad stuff that did not pass this year is because these folks are challenged. It removed this air of arrogance and of invincibility that many of them have because they are feeling the heat, because we're challenging them in places where they haven't been challenged in a long time. That made a difference. What we have done matters. It has already made a difference. And I truly believe that come November, we're going to see some huge gains. And it's because we are competing everywhere. When you organize everywhere, you can win anywhere. And that is the goal. Um, I would also just point out that I believe Monday is the 16th anniversary of the signing of the Affordable Care Act, and that's why another reason why this work is so important. Due to the leadership that we had 16 years ago in our state legislature, that we no longer have that kind of leadership in the majority. Our state became an expansion state, and we have a hell of a lot to lose and have already lost a lot due to this, big ugly bill that is kicking people off their health care. I think it's an important milestone to mention is the 16th anniversary of the signing of the Affordable Care Act. That is Monday. We plan on making a statement about that and getting that information out to folks as well. And because already we're seeing people who are seeing their premiums go up triple, quadruple amounts, those who get their insurance through the marketplace. And, conveniently set for after the election, we're going to see a lot of folks who rely on Medicaid get kicked off of their health care as well. And that's why what we're doing is so important. So I can't thank you enough for stepping up and serving on this committee. Many of you are running for reelection. I applaud that. And those that aren't, thank you for these past 4 years of service to this committee, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you. I'm gonna move on to the vice chair report. And Teresa, would you like to go first?
Sure. Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes.
Very good. I'll be brief, but I do have some things that I want to report to the committee. Definitely positive growth that we're seeing, but also some of my vision for the future. Candidates who are inspiring all of us, right? And so very excited about all the candidates that are stepping up. And I had the unique opportunity, thanks to the invitation of Pam Van Horn and the West Virginia Federation of Democratic Women, to be at the Capitol with all of them. last week, I think it was. The days run together, week before last. And it was a very successful event, but also very empowering and inspiring to see so many new faces, so many, and by new, I just mean people really stepping up. It's a lot to put your name on the ballot, and I say that with experience. So it's very exciting to see all the candidates that have been recruited, and that is something that I want to encourage people now that we've recruited. All of us have recruited. Everybody, thank you so much. All over the state, so much organizing happened from the recruiting, but let's be sure to support those candidates. They need money, they need volunteers, they need resources, they need social media shares because that helps them raise money. Even those small amounts make a difference and encourage them. So I really want to shout out to all the candidates, all the people that have put their name on the ballot. And of course, you know, there are a lot of women, and to see that in West Virginia, you can see the future. You can see that the change is coming. So I want to remember, or everybody to remember, that the work we're doing now is for 2026. And I think I think Chair Pushkin is correct. I do think we're going to see gains. I think we can all debate about what those gains look like, but we're moving the needle, I think, in all the races, and we're going to have pickups in actual wins in many of the races. But I also think we need to think about 2028. And when I look at the bench that we're building and the people we have stepping up now, it's clear that 2028 also looks really, really good. So it's exciting to see so many candidates so energized all over the state, and many of them also people that have been involved, that have been holding the line with us all in one way or another, that are stepping up and putting their name on the ballot. And I see that all over the state as well. So it's very exciting. So shout out to the candidates. I'm coming off of my most recent political event, being getting the privilege of sitting and listening all day. And I didn't have to give a single speech, and listening to all of the new energy and the excitement. And boy, did I come away with a big smile all the way to Wheeling, driving back home from Charleston at the Capitol. So thanks to Pam Van Horn and the Federation for that. No King's Day is coming up. And that's a point that I want to make, that I've been working on hard on as your first vice chair in the party. Everybody's working hard on this, right? We all get a few minutes to talk about what we think is important and what we're focused on. But everybody has been working on this with me, and Chair Pushkin has been leading the effort. But this idea of cooperating with allies of the party, and we're doing that. No Kings is an event that the party is not sponsoring, at least in the Northern Panhandle, but we're all involved participating. And actually, I may have even misspoke there. The High County Democratic Women and our High County Executive Committee are so active here. They may be involved in our No Kings event, and I think they are. So, but I am sponsoring, I think, the Boy Scout water tent. So when you talk about allies that we're not necessarily normally finding, whether it's a Catholic priest who's helping immigrants in Morgantown and Clarksburg and being a resource to him, or whether it's the Boy Scout water tent. And how cool is it that the Boy Scouts are having a first aid tent at our event? So there are things happening where that seem anecdotal, but all over the state, these things are happening where we're seeing cooperation and increase, where the party is one of many groups at the table opposing the regime, frankly. And so I see a lot of that, and I continue to focus on that and work on that. Very quick update. I know others are going to speak to the DNC, and our committee man, Sam Pat Sonka's on. But I'm going to be attending with our delegation. I think we're all going to be there. I haven't confirmed that 100%, but I'm pretty sure that your entire leadership will be in New Orleans next month at the DNC, which will be very good and very energizing to roll into the primary election and into the rest of the year, the entire election season, because of course we'll be bringing everything back. We live and die, unfortunately, by the Democratic politics at the national level here in West Virginia. So I think it's very important that we stay plugged in and keep those relationships strong. And I'm excited about that next month as well. And the thing that I'll close with, because there's a lot of important business to get to, and I don't want to take a lot of time, but I really want to encourage everybody to remember that we're still fighting and growing, and there's a lot of excitement. And I think there are going to be huge gains nationally this year. And we're going to see those gains easier in places that are traditionally blue, but we're going to see those gains here too in West Virginia. You can tell it. I know you all feel it. It's nobody apologizes anymore for being a Democrat. People understand the brand is back. People understand. Look at the kitchen table tour that our delegation did. Thank you, Chair Pushkin. Thank you, Leader Hornbuckle. Thank you for your leadership on that, because it did change the narrative. By the way, I wrote that down in my notes when Leader Hornbuckle was talking. That is what we're working on doing, and we're all doing it. So I know there are people on this call. I see your faces when I flip to the screen of everybody on the call, and you're working on different parts of this. You're working on different, you're coming at it from a different approach, but we're all organizing, and we're all in what is really a long-term plan for the West Virginia Democratic Party to continue to build the party. And so I'm excited that that's happening on so many levels. And I just want to reiterate to everybody that I do my very best to help build and be a resource to everybody. I'm excited to continue to work with all of you as we build the party. And I really want to say for the leadership, as we went through the DNC SWOT analysis and the question came up about recruiting, I really want to thank the leadership from Chair Pushkin to Secretary Craig, to Treasurer Doyle, everybody involved all over the state, and then the county committees, and then the county chairs. And the recruiting effort was a thing of beauty. It really, really was. And I'm grateful for it. And we have to keep doing it. So we're building a bench. And I also want to close with this. The reason, there's always a lot of criticism. There's always, as we go through the SWOT analysis, you have to take this hard look at divisions within the party. It's hard to work with other groups sometimes when you have divisions within. But what I can tell you is that the reason we have all these changes is not because anybody in the past has failed, not because this person did this wrong or that, and maybe some of that's true, but the reality is that we as a party were in the majority, and now we're in the minority, and we're organizing and building in a way we have not done. And we have the majority party ruling with arrogance. And we're getting ready. So I'm excited to be part of the continued getting ready and the long-term plan of building the West Virginia Democratic Party. Chair Pushkin, thank you for the floor. My update was to let everybody know what our focus is on and to give a few shout outs. Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you, Vice Chair Torseva. Real quick before I turn it over to Second Vice Chair and DNC Committee Man Petzold, real quick, because I forgot, I left this out. Teresa mentioned the kitchen table tour. That was a great effort by the House caucus along with Senator Garcia. Every stop that we had on the tour was packed, even in areas where especially in areas where they don't have Democratic representation yet. But that helped us with our recruitment effort, and that led into what we did during the session, where we continued again this year of having these virtual town halls every Sunday night during the session. Those were also very well attended. And I would be remiss if I didn't let you all know that tomorrow night is the wrap up, the legislative session at 6:30. If you contact us at wvhousedems@gmail.com, wvhousedems@gmail.com. And Ryan might know an easier way to get on. I would encourage everybody to attend tomorrow evening. The entire House caucus and Joey will be joining the call tomorrow night to discuss the legislative session. With that, I'm going to Second Vice Chair Petzold.
Chair Pushkin.
Yes.
Just want to add one small thing for the good of the order. The Women's Caucus virtual meeting is 7 p.m. on April 2nd. There's an email that's gone out about it. That's a caucus within the party. Cindy Lavender-Bow can answer any questions that anyone might have. And I think she's on the call. So thank you, Cindy, for that. I just wanted to take the opportunity to let everyone know that there's a lot of organizing continuing to happen. And Judy Hamilton, I think, is helping her with that.
Thank you. All right, we'll turn it over to Sam.
All right, there we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for being here. I know it's a busy weekend, and probably you're thinking another vice chair's report. This is just what we need. So, but I really hope that I will add some new dimensions. I want to expand on and not duplicate what other folks have said, because I want you to remember all of the reports and updates are very real. We've got great achievements that we have made, but it's important to situate that in the context going forward so that we can continue succeeding and expanding. You know, we have done a great job recruiting candidates. They've talked about that, but we have a framework that we have also developed alongside that candidate recruitment process to ensure that that it is useful to us in the long run. And that framework is the 3 C's that we talk about: candidates, communications, and cash flow. Everybody on this committee, I think, now understands, because we've done a lot of learning about what is the job of the Democratic Committee in this day and age. And that job has changed. It's not what it was 20 years ago. But part one, we've really succeeded recruiting and candidates, but we've got to support them. And how do we support them? We support them through our candidate recruitment and working group that we've have working groups that we've established, of course, for all of these program areas. And the support for the candidates is ongoing in terms of training them on the vote builder and the technical nuts and bolts of how to be a candidate. The working groups, together with the House caucus, which has done extraordinarily, we have I think done well in recent years on the communications front as well. We have a process for identifying our communications priorities. The in-person town hall element was a great leap forward in the efficacy of our communications as a party with the public, and it's really, hopefully, it becomes a permanent part of how we communicate, because it's so effective. It touches people on social media. But in addition to candidate recruitment and support, in addition to communications and keeping those working groups meeting and innovating and delivering as they have been, we've got to do more and better on the cash flow side. And I want to focus on that because look, we've done a lot. Let me just say, before we get to the cash issue, I don't want to overlook other achievements in addition to the work on the county committees from Braxton and Mingo and Pendleton and Nicholas and Hardy and now Grant and many others. We've got the youth organization is working well. The Young Dems are doing really great work. I want to lift up and say that thank you to them and to a lot of the leadership in the party that has helped to make that happen in the last couple of years. The affirmative action caucuses have been a big innovation. They've had some growing pains, but I think you just saw today there's a great new resurgence of energy in the women's caucus, and you'll be learning more and seeing more about them. These affirmative action caucuses are a part of our party structure now going forward in a really useful way. And that is both at the state and the national level. We've made other structural changes that I've reported on to you before at the state and the national level. And those include, the updates to the national affirmative action plans to ensure that the at-large membership of the DNC is more reflective of the general electorate, so that as we are picking the order of the presidential primaries and doing the other work of the national committee, the voices brought to bear are truly reflective of the electorate whose support we have to win. So that structural work that we've done at the state level, it has also happened at the DNC in the last couple of years, and it's been productive and it's been significant, and it will it will have long-term impacts. But there's a budgetary element that supports that national work as well. So let's get to budgeting, the third C, and something at the national level. I want to remind you that our West Virginia DNC team did negotiate successfully with Ken Martin and the new leadership of the DNC to bring more money to the states. That is a significant budgetary increase in our state contributions from the DNC and for most other red states around, what they're called, presidentially red trending states, put it that way, around the country. Even in states like Mississippi, you're seeing historic wins, millions of dollars coming into Mississippi to help defeat the supermajority there. And West Virginia has a similar game plan, and we're moving towards it. But I want to talk stateside about the budgeting, about the what we've done and where we need to go, because this, I think, is being candid. This is out of the 3C working groups. We've succeeded with candidates. We've succeeded generally with communications, and that's a continually evolving system. And I do want to make sure that we help to find ways in future terms to make these kinds of working groups and changes more permanent within the party structure. But when it comes to finance, we still have a ways to go. So what have we done and where do we need to go on finance? And then I'll wrap up. Okay. We've done a couple of things, I think, successfully that that are important. And I would say first, we adopted a strategic operating plan with broad input from this committee that has given contour, shape, and structure to our long-term operating objectives. We have a 4-year quarterly operating plan that breaks down our programmatic activity and gives us some structure for budgeting purposes. But it's not an actual budget yet. It's not a budget document. It's a step towards a budget document. So we've created some structure there that helps us with budgeting, helps us with these other functions, and I thank everyone who participated in drafting and adopting the party's strategic operating plan. But secondly, we adopted a great, more permanent structure in the audit committee to provide a retrospective mechanism for transparency and accountability, and that is a structural change that's really good for the party, and we should be proud of it. And I think it's working well, from what I understand. But the task that remains to be done is developing a stateside fundraising strategy that we can sustain and deliver on and reproduce. So we've asked people for a couple of years, all SDEC members to either give or raise $100 a month. And that's been a goal. That's been a long-term. The 100 Club is something that a lot of counties used to use. We'd like for people to do that, but we have more work to do on this front, and we really need. I want to invite everybody who is a committee member in the next cycle to participate in the fundraising working group to help us really develop a more detailed, working, forward-looking budget for this party that incorporates and develops strategies about how to raise and sustain that kind of monthly donor support from within the state. And I understand why it's been hard. I don't think it's indifference that has prevented us from raising all of that money within West Virginia. I think we've had to do this organizing work first so people could see the changes and feel something, to see that there is work happening amongst the membership of the state executive committee before they're ready to give in support of it. But I think we're at that point. I think the tremendous success with candidate recruitment, and the great success with communications outreach, the work of the caucus, gives people a lot of enthusiasm to give and contribute. And so I invite everybody, if you're running for re-election to the state executive committee, please try to carve out some time to help the state party develop more of a sustainable working plan to get our state executive committee membership and the county committees, to the extent we can, to give or raise $100 a month. And we've made progress towards that goal. We've put all these other structures in place, but until we can consistently yield that amount of giving within the state, we won't be able to get to where we want to be in terms of having non-election year staffing and outreach and canvassing to support these candidate recruitment efforts and to actually ensure we win the races long term. So anyway, that's my update. I think there is still work to be done on that fundraising front, but we have a good structure, and I thank everyone for your efforts towards that goal. And I will be in New Orleans. And so if people have questions about the caucuses or the work of the DNC at the New Orleans meeting, please communicate with me about that beforehand, and I'll be eager to talk to you about it. I've been active in the Rural Council and in the Poverty Council, and I've in the Labor Caucus. So I will. Somebody's texting me. I'm trying to conclude my remarks here. Okay, but I think that's all I have to say, unless people have questions. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I'm gonna move on to the treasurer's report. John, are you ready? You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, Ryan, can we put the one pager up on the screen? So people can see it?
Sure.
Wonderful. It's pretty straightforward. We have total available of $113,215.20. And you'll see that when the screen comes up. The federal account is $59,220.10. The non-federal, which is the state account, which we don't use, is $53,995.10. Now let's go down to the up in the upper left-hand corner. It says federal quarter. Those are each of the 4 quarters. So contributions in quarter 1 were $56,193.57. Quarter 2, $57,856.72. Quarter 3, $71,932.70. And quarter 4 of 25, $124,277.64. This is reflecting the fact that we're doing a lot better. So now disbursements out of the federal account. In the first quarter, we dispersed $68,437.04, which was $12,243.47 more than we took in that quarter. The second quarter, $63,273.58. Again, that was 5,416 cents more than we took in that quarter. In the third quarter was 68,965.69. We ended up dispersing less than we took in that quarter. And in the fourth quarter, disbursements were more, $96,006.75, but we took in 28,270.89 more than we dispersed. So again, it is definitely showing an upward trend. We closed 2025 with a net surplus of 13,577.57. Now let's go down into quarter 4, which is the one we're just finishing up. You'll see a line that says Contribution Act Blue donors. That's what we get from people donating through Act Blue. It's 22,884.89. Then you'll see contribution deposits. This is when people write us a check. And so that goes in, that's counted separately, 27,724.24. Party support data sharing agreement. I will confess to you that Ryan explained this to me yesterday, and I thought I understood it, but I don't. So, Ryan, if you want to jump in and tell everybody what this $1,000.88 is about, I would appreciate it.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The data sharing agreement is a special contract that we have with a system called VLM. Essentially what it is it's the legal way for us to be able to clean data in our voter file and compare it for others to use. And it is a paid resource because it has a value, which all of our voter file data has a value. And so essentially think of if you get a polling question that may have been connected to the VLM, or if another entity maybe sends you a piece of mail, it may have come through the VLM agreement. But essentially what it means is we get access to some shared data that is cleansed, and that is so that it can be legally shared. But because the data has a value, and because we add value to our data through Vote Builder, that is why we get a section of a payment every quarter.
Got it. Thank you. Now let's go over to the and party support from the DNC, 72,667.63. Again, this reflects the new agreement we have with the National Party, where we're getting from here on out a lot more money from them, which is really good. Let's go over to disbursements in quarter four. Consulting, that's 17,775. That I think is mostly Mike Plant. And there might be others periodically that we retain to do consulting on an ad hoc basis. Events, 32,948.55. That's really the state dinner. That's the bulk of that. Office, $3,766.68, which is less than we were paid. Operations, $53,97.84. Personnel, $30,813.44, and that's essentially Ryan. I personally hope that before too long we'll have a second employee, but that is merely my hope, folks. So, and travel, that's pretty much when Mike Pushkin. That's 5305.24, and that's mostly when Mike Pushkin travels around the state. Non-federal account, the state account, we received 2,500 in a transfer. You want to explain that, Ryan?
Sure. One correction: the travel actually covers my travel and Sheriff Pushkin's.
I'm sorry, my bad.
ASDC events, as well as some minor fuel travel and meals and arrangement around the state.
Okay.
The transfer is simply that we deposited a check from an entity in our federal account that really need to be deposited in our non-federal, and so it's just a bank transfer between the two.
Okay. Now let's go down to the federal quarter on the left, contributions, which totaled for quarter one. This is 2026. We're now moving into the first quarter of 2026. Which is the one, actually, that's the one we're in now. Sorry. Contributions total 62,420.64. Of those, again, it's broken down. Those who contributed through Act Blue, 9698.28. Those who wrote us checks, 5,000 even. The data sharing agreement, 853.45. And party support from the DNC, 46,868.91. On the disbursement side, consulting, again, that's mostly Mike, 10,212.50. We haven't had any event in the first quarter of 26 that we've spent money on. Office, 2336.15. I guess that's up through today. Operations, 18,743.95. Personnel, 38,960.45. Again, that's Ryan. And travel, that's 1197.78. That would be Ryan and Mike. So that's the treasurer's report. If anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Hey, this is Diane Browning. How much is the DNC committing quarterly now under the new agreement? Is it 46 or 47?
Well, I think it's more than that. I believe it was about 30,000, and I think it's up to about 45 now on average.
No, actually, so we get approximately 22,000 a month.
Oh, okay. So that would be 66,000 a quarter. And the one down there in quarter one, we're not finished with the quarter yet. That's why it doesn't show the 66.
Gotcha.
Treasurer Purdue, if I could, or Treasurer Doyle, if I could just do a couple quick cleanups on here. The consulting.
Sure.
Consulting also includes some of our legal and compliance that comes in at different quarterly amounts, and then that's the most important one. I just wanted to point out on that one.
Hey, Ryan, I'll get this memorized. Don't worry, eventually.
And for the pleasure of the membership, these reports are also found on our landing page, as well as a full 2025 line itemed, color coded, categorized report.
Thank you, John and Ryan. Like I said, these are public. If anyone wants to go through it and take more time with it and contact any of us, set up an appointment with any of us to talk about it, or you can just call me. You don't need an appointment. We can discuss it. And I would like to thank Ryan for clearing up the fact that I don't spend $5,000 traveling around the state. That's for DNC
I
meetings,
apologize,
a whole lot
Mr.
of other
Chairman.
stuff, and it's for more than me. Anyway,
I
thanks,
apologize.
Ryan. And John, thank you, John.
Sure.
I
And
know I'll
Mr.
just say, I'm
Chairman,
looking at that. I know what my role is and what I need to do. And that line that says contribution needs to go up, and that's a lot of that's on me. I tell you, it will be easier to do so when we have something tangible. Now the session's over, something tangible to point to, and the amount of candidates that we have on the ballot. And I'm not going to lie, it has been difficult when you're the party out of power and you know have no statewide electeds, and you have 9 in the House and 2 in the Senate. It makes it harder when you're asking for the larger checks, because people are afraid to do so because you're out of power and they don't want to tick off the folks who are in power. That's just a fact. If I would encourage anyone to make those phone calls and find out just how easy it is. So please give it a shot. I'm going to
Mr.
move on to
Chairman.
Brian. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to leave
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
I apologize. You may have seen me yawning. I got no sleep last night because of the thunderstorm, and I'm going to go try to catch up on some sleep.
Okay. Nobody called John for the next several hours. He's taking a nap. Thank you, John.
That's right.
All right, Ryan. I'm gonna move on to the executive director's report.
Thank you, Treasurer Doyle. I once also referred to him as Senator on a radio call and got called out on the radio call. We had a great conversation yesterday. I appreciate his diligence in going through that. And as I said, these reports. That was the condensed version. There is a expanded subcategorized report on the website, as well as a detailed line by line. So happy to schedule time to talk about anything you'd like to. My appointment schedule can be found at wvdemocrats.com/Ryan. To go through my report really quickly, October through now, in operations, I continue to rebuilding core systems for consistency and accountability, standardized reporting and compliance and communications, continue trying to strengthen coordination with county parties, and maintained operations during the legislative session. You just heard our financial position. Continue to try to strengthen financial controls and account oversight. I've improved tracking across federal and non-federal accounts. Have been working to build a cash reserve so that we're not in a position of operating day to day or week to week. Managing the outstanding federal debt. We are currently down to only holding one debt. And also have been structuring candidate reimbursements through our non-federal account, which I'll talk about in a moment. On the fundraising, you did see that we had a good quarter in 4. That would reflect the arcade dinner. So we did have we had a great arcade dinner overall, but it also brought in money. It paid for the event, and doing follow-up and reconciliation on that. Have tried to expand recurring donor tracking in Act Blue. We've improved visibility into contributor data, and we're building more consistent fundraising systems. In candidate recruitment, we executed a statewide candidate recruitment program for legislative and local races. We maintained real-time tracking to identify open and uncontested seats, conducted outreach with county-level coordination, and we built and promoted recruitment funnels. Internally, we had wvdemocrats.com/recruit, which many of you utilized. And we also maintained wvdemocrats.com/run, which was highly publicized and included on every post we could. We got a ton of social media reactions off of it, and it in turn did recruit some candidates. On the digital front, we did run targeted paid ads in low activity districts to drive traffic to our recruitment pages. We maintained our pipeline of interest, follow up, and filing, and we increased our inbound candidate interest. On text recruitment, the party spent about $2,000 to contact 60,000 voters statewide in targeted races. Most of those would be ones we didn't have a person in. We targeted high propensity voters, likely candidates. It definitely generated a lot of interest and took considerable amount of time on follow-up. The point of that was to build something that is scalable and repeatable for outreach. In candidate support, we continue to provide direct support to candidates. The party will be reimbursing filing fees for uncontested candidates, as well as nominees in contested state, House, and county commission races post-primary. What that investment shows is a $22,000 investment in the primary, and additionally a $6,800 investment in the general post-primary to the total amount of $29,070. And of course, you're all likely aware, but our candidate recruitment was phenomenal. We have 21 total state Senate candidates, in addition to our federal candidates, which we have 5 running for U.S. Senate. We've got 3 running for Senate District 2 and 2 running for Senate District 1. We have 4 contested races in the state Senate races. 13 are uncontested nominees. In the House of Delegates, we have 110 total candidates, with 70 being in uncontested races. We have 40 candidates across 20 contested races. And then in our county commission, I'm really happy to see this, but we have 48 total candidates, 25 in uncontested races, and we have 8 contested races. So there will be a total of 33 nominees, which is phenomenal. We maintain a centralized resources page at wvdemocrats.com/candidates. We're also providing ongoing support through email updates, text message updates, and direct follow-up and direct one-on-one conversations. With data and technology, we continue integrating Vote Builder, Action Network, and ActBlue workflows. We continue to build and refine data syncing and reporting systems, implementing voter registration tracking tools, which, as we're all aware, the Republican Party has closed their primary to unaffiliated voters. We are tracking all voters of all parties to see if there are any major registration changes. That registration deadline for the primary is April 21st. And we are also working with several counties and with the legislative team and the leadership team on implementing some communication strategy as we get closer to April. And we've continued to develop automation for data collection and monitoring. One thing I really want to talk about is our archives project. This session, I created an archives to make sure that we had video of every floor session from the House, because it is not maintained by the House of Delegates. So we do have every floor session video at wvdemocrats.com/archives. And we've also, we meaning me, have also built a system for archiving video, audio, and transcript storage. This is all an effort to assist our candidates down the road, which we have already done. We also developed internally a system with our legislative team that we called the Record, or Record, because it's a double play on words. But what that system allowed us to do is to, in real time, take in information from session on bad votes, bad statements, etc. And we've been working to pull those together as a way for us to, stay in consciousness of what was happening in real time. And that data will be made available to our candidates as it is useful. Communications, we, of course, supported the legislative messaging and rapid response through the press releases and also the press conferences, which were were fantastic. We, of course, produce content across real press, social media, email, and like I said, we're building systems for our video and transcript content. On the events front, we supported the kitchen table tour, and that was a phenomenal rollout and event where we packed rooms everywhere that our legislative team was. Part of the party's back end was supporting through data, through communication. We set up a specific action network section just for the kitchen table tours, where we were able to bring it in. And then we are matching everybody that signed up for these attendance into Vote Builders so that we have continuing data improvement. We coordinate with county parties on meetings and events. I'd like to thank everyone who does send event information to events@wvdemocrats.com. Meanwhile, I also continue to just track as many social media pages and event pages as possible so that we can put them on our website. As part of that, we continue to work on standardizing calendar and event distribution tools. In compliance, I maintain federal and state reporting, have worked on addressing some historical reporting issues and provide guidance to affiliated organizations. I do want to point out that last month, the party did receive correspondence from the West Virginia Secretary of State regarding an elections law complaint filed against the party in relation to the Young Democrats grievance back in 2024. That complaint was dismissed and the party was found to be in no fault. The bottom line, we continue rebuilding core systems while maintaining operations. We're trying to improve the financial visibility and discipline. We continue to expand the candidate pipeline and direct support, and we are strengthening infrastructure across data, communications, and compliance. The priorities continue to grow recurring donors, expand our recruitment pipeline because recruitment should not stop, continue our archives and transcription build out, strengthen our county coordination, and maintain our compliance discipline. With that, again, I will put my contact in here. And I did want to make a point. Thank you, Patty, for commenting in the chat. I just looked up. And 1 second. Just got to get some people in here. Did want to do a minor correction to Vice Chair Torsiva. She mentioned Judy Hamilton with Cindy Lavender Bow. It is, in fact, Patty Hamilton and Cindy Lavender Bow who have been working on the WVSDEC Women's Caucus. So thank you very much to all who are working on improving our party. With that, I will say adieu. C'est la vie.
Thank you, Ryan. I just want to clarify one thing. When Ryan mentions contested or uncontested races in that regard, we're talking about primaries. So we're reimbursing candidates have uncontested in primaries. So if you want to talk about uncontested in the general, I think it's important to point out that while we were working very hard to contest every race in the general, the Republicans so far left 6 out of 9 House seats uncontested. One of those is House District 80, where our incumbent is stepping up and he's going to be a senator next year. And we have a primary for who's going to be the next delegate there, and the Republicans failed to recruit. So especially here in Mon County and in Kanawha County, they did not read the new rules. Some went wrong. They dropped the ball. And while we were contesting their races, they have failed to put up candidates in 6 out of 9 of our House races. That's a pretty good thing. So thank you again, Ryan. And well, I brought up Mon County, and is Cal still? I know we are keeping Cal from a very important basketball game. So I'm going to ask Chair Carlson to give us an update on the County Chairs Association.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Chair Pushkin. I'm Cal Carlson, Chair of Montague County, Chair of the County Chairs Association. I am live from the CAC parking lot, getting ready to go to the Hope Coliseum for the NCAA basketball tournament. Short update from the county chairs. Thank you to everybody who's been doing the work the past few months with recruitment. We've had some great kind of informal meetings the past couple months, just trying to hit that quorum number, which is about 20 county chairs. Our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, April 29th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. I'll be sending out the information for that. I've also held some kind of informal office hours earlier this month. I hope to do that again next month just to check in with chairs. And shout out, I believe Calhoun and Gilmer are our most recent counties to come back online. But thank you to everybody who's filing to run for your executive committee. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out. And thank you to Chair Pushkin and Executive Director Frankenberry for all you do to support me and the other county chairs.
Thank you. Great report. Best report of the day. And let's bring home. What time's that game start?
Kentucky JMU is at 2:30. Women play at 5 o'clock. WVU women.
Plenty of time. All right. Let's see. Chair Klein has her hand. Do you have a question for Cal?
No. I just wanted to follow up with Cal for county committee.
Okay. What's that?
Are you ready for me? Just real quick, I wanted to follow up because we had Rayleigh's Law, and I wanted to thank the 11 champions that worked hard to get that passed. I know the teacher very, very well, and I sat on the phone with her that night till midnight, messaging back and forth, giving her support. She's made great relationships with a lot of you members, and I just wanted to thank you guys for all your work on that and everything.
Unfortunately, we got it to the floor.
Yes.
But it did not pass.
Well, that's what I
They
meant. It didn't
filibustered.
pass. I didn't mean to imply that it did pass, but
Yeah.
thank you for working on it and getting it to where it was. And hopefully next time we'll get it passed. That
Thank
little
you.
girl was from Nicholas County. It started in Nicholas County and ended up in Fayette County. And this teacher loved her dearly, and she was hoping so much that would pass. Anyway, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, Olivia, are you still on the call?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to introduce the president of the West Virginia Young Democrats to give an update, Olivia Dowler.
Okay. Sorry if you guys hear my dogs. I'm up in Weirton watching them for my parents, so they've been a little crazy, but my update's not super long either. We've still been working with our chapters that we have and growing more, especially in colleges. We're currently working with Fairmont State, West Liberty, West Virginia State, and the University of Charleston to get chapters there, and they should be up, I would say, by the end of this semester. We had a decent amount of students come up throughout the legislative session, whether it be specifically with their chapters or just with their universities, with their regions. Under candidates, whenever we're looking at people who are running as Democrats and they're 35 or under, so they technically might not be members yet, but we've done outreach to them. There are 30 people running for the legislature who are 35 or younger on the Democrat side, 4 for Senate and 26 for House. And then 16 people in the same, so they're running for the Democrat state executive committee races. So very exciting to see young people stepping up, putting their names on the ballot. We've also seen a lot of student protests over the past semester, especially with Huntington and the Eastern Panhandle and Capitol High School. Capitol High School's Young Dems were specifically the ones who came out and got kind of criticized falsely by a Republican delegate on social media, but we publicly stood behind them. The ACLU of West Virginia publicly stood behind them and their First Amendment rights. And then lastly, our spring meeting with the Young Democrats of America is coming up. It's in 2 parts. The first part's online, April 3rd to 4th. And then there's an in-person part that is April 9th to 11th, concurrent with the DNC, and that is also in New Orleans. So we'll keep you updated there. But that's all I have. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. Now that session's over, I'll have a lot more time to focus on Young Dems. I feel like at one point session just like consumes you in your every waking moment. So glad to have a break from that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your work, Olivia. I'll move on. See, is Pam Van Horn on the call?
I am.
Okay. Would you like to give an update for the West Virginia Federation of Democratic Women?
Sure. Thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity. I appreciate it, Chair Pushkin. We, like everybody else, worked very hard on candidate recruitment. We did training for our members, both at our spring summit last May and our annual meeting in September in Morgantown, and equipped them with ways to work with candidates, how to talk to them about it, gave them a presentation. And at the end of the day, I think all of us worked very cooperative, very much together. And a lot of our members ended up as part of those 60 women that are going to be on our ballot. So we are pretty excited about that, to support our members, all candidates, not just our members. So that was a great thing. We've had 3 new clubs organized this year. Boone, Morgan's come in with a huge club, which is really exciting, I think, and Wyoming. So all 3 of those clubs will be reaffiliating with the Federation at our meeting in September. And I think we'll probably have a couple more, actually. So that's a lot of women are excited, as you all know. We have worked with Kanawha County Democratic Women and the Kanawha County Democratic Executive Committee to make sure that we represented our Democratic Party at Black Policy Day, Reproductive Justice Day, International Women's Day, and we'll be at No Kings next weekend. Just like a lot of our clubs are organizing those around the state, actually. Our clubs provided meals and treats to the legislators as part of a program with the Democratic Executive Committee. So we did that during the legislative session. On our social media, we pushed out everything you put out and more, and took on a lot of people, used Ryan's great videos. Those were really great. So, and we do that 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So, anything that we've got on any of the Federation media, you are welcome to take it and use it if it fits and you don't have to, share it from us. Just take it and use it to get a better term for your club or your organization. We had on March 12th, Teresa mentioned our Women in Blue at the Capitol. Now, I did offer and ask her if she wanted to speak, but she turned me down. So, but at any rate, it was a great day. We had a lot of fun. We had 92 women and some men showed up too. And we were able to hear from our legislators, and we ticked off Speaker Hansen when we were making a little noise up in the gallery that we weren't supposed to be making, but that's okay. We have also coming up, our 62nd annual meeting will be September 10th through the 13th at the Mountaineer Conference Center in Beckley. So we're moving into an area of the state where we lost a lot of our clubs after COVID and just with the aging out of our members. And, we're starting to have some strong showings there again. So we're moving our meeting to that area instead of being in Charleston. It would normally be in Charleston. So, those are some of the things we've been working on. Oh, and I pitched to Chair Pushkin that we have like a summer training session for our executive committees and our Federation of Democratic Women and our candidates, and bring us all together, because I think we're stronger when we're all together. So I'm sure you'll be hearing from us and the party about that. And I think the Young Democrats going to participate in that. So that's not all ironed out yet, but we're excited about participating in that. And I think that's basically what we've been up to the past 6 months or so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pam, for all your hard work. And you're right, we all have the same goals here, and that is to elect more Democrats, whether it's the Federation or the Young Democrats or the County Chairs Association, along with the party, all on the same team, elect more Democrats for the benefit of West Virginia and the world. That is the goal, and that's what we plan to do. And we have positioned ourselves in a place where we can definitely do that in 26. Amanda, do you have your hand up?
I do, Chair Pushkin. I just have a comment, and if it's not the
Yes.
appropriate time, just tell me to be quiet. But Pam, I love what the Federation's doing. Judy, the text messages, all of it. I just want to say you guys are doing a great job and commend you. And I wish that I could say I was a part of it. My schedule hasn't allowed me to participate like I wanted to, but I appreciate everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll move on. We have next on the agenda, I have a DNC committee person's report. I know Selena could not be here with us today. She couldn't be here today. Sam, are you still on?
I am, but I tried to pack that into my prior report.
I think we covered
Yeah.
most of it. Really, I mean, I think there's a lot of good news coming at the national level. We haven't had that in a while. But if you look at every special election that we've had since November of 24, I think it's like almost like 90% have been going in the Democratic column. That is the national trend. There's no reason why it cannot translate into wins in West Virginia, but that's what we're seeing. Ryan, do you have anything to add? I mean, obviously, we're going to the DNC meeting in a couple of weeks down in New Orleans. That coincides with the Young Dems conference, so they'll be down there as well. Ryan, do you have anything to add as far as the DNC report?
I can quickly just jump into the SWOT, which is the same, part of
Let's
DNC.
go ahead and go to that.
So the SWOT continues, which is the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that the DNC reinstated after about an 8-year absence of doing SWOTs. I think it's been very helpful. We are where I would say probably at the 80% mark on the report. We have done interviews with various folks within the state. The DNC team has developed a draft. We have reviewed the draft and are going back and forth on some edits, and eventually it will be a signed SWOT to help us with our strategic planning. They were, I will say, and credit to Vice Chair and DNC Committee Man Petsonk, very pleased that we already had a strategic plan started. They were surprised to see that we had it as a web landing page, but that is where we are with the SWOT. As far as the DNC update, like everyone said, it will be in New Orleans the week of like April 8th.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Back on the agenda here. Organizing updates. We've covered most of that. Say, Ryan.
Yeah, I actually pulled that off the agenda.
Okay. Well, I'm going by the printed my agenda, so you can't update mine. Okay. Well, what's next on your updated agenda, Ryan? Unfinished business? Okay. I don't believe we have any, which is fitting since this is the last scheduled meeting of the term. Did you have any, Ryan?
Negative.
All right. Next, we move on to a new business. Okay. I see Mac has his hand up. Go ahead, Mac.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to invoke Rule 22 to move to fix the time of adjournment of this meeting to allow for a meeting to be called between 31 and 45 days from today via Zoom of the State Executive Committee in order to vote on the bylaws here bylaw amendments here attached pending clerical edits. This is a main motion, a privileged incidental main motion. It is debatable and amendable.
Okay.
Point of order.
Sam has his hand up. Sam.
I was just trying to raise a point of order. I'm not fully. I have a sense about what Mr. Halderman's got to propose here, and I think it's important, but I'm not sure that it's properly before the committee in this fashion. It's so maybe request an opinion about that, because I want to underscore it is important. But I think it's so important that I want to be sure we're following the right process with it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sam. I'm looking at Article 5 of the bylaws, and again, bylaws supersede Robert's rules. Robert's rules step in when the bylaws are silent. However, in Article 5, Section B, which is the duties of the officers under the chair, it says the chair shall preside at all meetings of the executive committee and the Board of Appeals. The chair shall issue calls for all meetings of the executive committee and shall give written notice to all members and officers at least 14 days prior to the date of the meeting. This is the important part here. The chair may call special meetings at any time at their discretion and shall call special meetings of the executive committee upon written request of more than 33% of the members. So to call for a special meeting would require a petition. I believe the motion is out of order.
The motion is not for a special meeting. The motion is to move to fix the time of adjournment for this meeting. I would like a ruling from the parliamentarian on the issue.
Can I just request that you send that in the text or the chat to me. I did receive your previous email.
Yeah, I'm making it as an incidental. I figured it would be a privilege motion, but it's coming up as an incidental main. So I'll give you the correct
And
word.
you're requesting a ruling of, just for clarity, the parliamentarian on with you in your house?
She's on the call.
Yeah. Well, the ruling of the chair is the motion's out of order.
I would like to appeal and invoke Rule 43 so I can give a brief explanation, even on an undebatable part of debate. Rule 43 states that the making of a motion of any kind, whether debatable or undebatable, may be prefaced by a few words of explanation. What I'd like to bring forth is a series of amendments to the bylaws. The reason I'm bringing it forth this way is the bylaws committee has not met in what will be in a little over 20 days, 24 months. We have reaffirmed everything that is in these bylaws amendments, both at our organizing convention via the passage of the Growth, Outreach, Recruitment, and Education Committee. We reaffirmed at our very first meeting of this organizing of this session as an executive committee. We reaffirmed at convention. This has been reaffirmed through resolutions, the special resolutions, and passed. Because bylaws has not met, all of these things need to be in session before we've set up a new committee. And I would urge the committee to vote in favor of the appeal.
So can we, before we go any further, can we clarify what your motion is? If you could send that either to me or to someone so we can put that in the chat so folks can read that. And then Chair Pushkin, can you revisit what
Okay.
rule that
I reviewed the proposal. It is fairly comprehensive. I'd say that while I acknowledge that the Rules and Bylaws Committee should be meeting more often, they have met on request to take up proposed changes to the rules and bylaws. I would think that a proposal that is this comprehensive would need to go through the elected Rules and Bylaws. Grant you, I didn't appoint the Rules and Bylaws Committee. That happened 4 years ago. We allowed that to be elected by the body. They have not called themselves into order. I did not chair the Rules and Bylaws Committee, but a proposal this comprehensive, I think, should go through a transparent committee process. So then again, with the motion to extend to set for in effect set a new meeting, I ruled that was out of order, and Mac challenged I guess it was a challenge the ruling of the chair. So what is the threshold to appeal a ruling of the chair? Is it how many votes?
Majority.
It's majority. Okay.
Can we see the motion? And also, Mike, I don't know, or Chair Pushkin, I don't know that everyone is privy to what you prefaced as far as what Mr. Haldeman actually intends to do if in fact we extend the adjournment of this meeting, which is the document that leadership, including myself, was sent. So maybe just let's start with putting the
Also, we received a proposal this morning, which is fairly comprehensive. It rewrites a lot of the structure of the party. And I guess the motion that I ruled out of order is that we extend this meeting until 30 days from now, or we come back in to vote on this comprehensive change to the rules and bylaws of the state party. The ruling that I had was that basically is in effect scheduling a new meeting, which is out of order. Mac challenged the ruling of the chair. So that's what's before us right now, is an appeal to the rule that the motion was out of order. And I don't believe that's debatable. Is that, Judy, you have your hand up? Just to remind you, it's not debatable.
Yeah, I'm not wanting to debate it. I do want to say that I have tried on multiple occasions to get the Rules and Bylaws Committee to meet because there was unfinished business, stuff that we needed to go over. And I was never able to get anybody, or well, not, I was, the person I spoke to, I was unable to get them to schedule a meeting.
I'll point out again, the Rules and Bylaws Committee was elected by this body. Um, and so it's not called by the chair. Okay,
I sent Jenny the copy of the motion so that she has it.
Just now via email? Oh, no, never mind. I see it here. Thank you.
Yeah, it was in chat. That was easier.
Okay, I can't copy and paste from the chat to the minutes. If you don't mind just also sending it in an email. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. That'll take me a minute.
Yep, thanks.
The appeal is also technically debatable.
Okay. The appeal is debatable. Is there any discussion? I see Amanda had her hand up first. Amanda?
I'd like to make a motion to table his motion.
Okay, that is not debatable. So the motion now before us is to table the motion to appeal.
Second,
That's not debatable. What's that?
Second, Barbara Scott.
Second from Barbara Scott. Okay, that's the motion before us. It's not debatable.
Was that Amanda that made that motion? Amanda
Yes,
is.
Point of order.
All right, thank you.
Seconded by Barbara Scott. All in favor of the motion to table?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
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 Point of order. The motion to appeal and fix the time of adjourn is both out of order. You can't table it.
The motion to appeal was tabled. The ayes have it, and the motion was tabled.
Is there a way for us to get some transparency on revisiting that at another time? Because it does seem like a really important thing that may need to be resolved before we have a new committee.
Not now. Nope.
I think well, the point is, there's a primary coming up, and there will be a new committee, and that can be taken up and instead of tying the hands of the new committee, we can work with the new committee to take whether it's all of it or part of it, or go through it and see which parts have merit, parts don't. Would not help us elect more Democrats, in my opinion. But my phone is always on, not just on the morning of the committee meeting, but all the time. And I'll put my number in the chat if I can figure out how to do it. Ryan, can you put my phone number in the chat or show me how to do that? My phone's always on. I'll be willing to discuss it. The first I had heard of this proposal was this morning. We're going to move on to good of the order. That's where any members can speak up. Ryan put my phone number in the chat. Again, I want to thank everybody for this last 4 years. And I think to me, the tangible improvement we can see. There's a whole lot of stuff that's been done. But when we look at that primary ballot, while the Republicans have closed their primary to independents and unaffiliated voters, we're giving voters choices from the top of the ticket on down. I had a concern when the Republicans chose to close their ballot that we were going to be getting so many more folks requesting our ballot, and that ballot could possibly be empty like it has been, unfortunately, in previous cycles. Well, that's not the case. And that's due to the hard work of our county committees, of the folks on this call, of our staff and our officers who worked very, very hard and held meetings. Every other week, we had candidate recruitment meetings. Those meetings have turned into candidate support meetings and open office hours for candidates that we're holding every other Thursday. I would invite anybody on here to join us for any of the working groups that we've had that have resulted in what we have now with the full slate, nearly a full slate of candidates. Unfortunately, there were just a couple of areas that we weren't, we came up short, but for the most part, we're challenging Republicans everywhere. And I firmly believe that it's already made a difference in what you saw this past session. Our work is paying off, and we're going to pick up seats. And that's what we're doing here. That's it. That is the goal here. Elect more Democrats for the good of humanity, because we can see what the other side has done and where they're leading us right now. So we're doing good work, and it has results. It's had immediate results, and the results we're going to see in November are going to shock the world. So I cannot thank you all enough. We're still in the good of the order. Anybody else would like to address the group? Teresa, you waving?
Yeah, I'm leaving. I can't figure out how to raise my hand. It's a different
Okay,
screen.
I saw you.
I thank you. I didn't know if you did. I appreciate that. If it's appropriate time to make a motion, I want to say, first of all, that this was not the first time I heard of Mac's proposal. He had reached out to me previously. I do agree that the bylaw suggested changes are complex, but I would like to make a motion, if this is an appropriate time, to refer this to the bylaw committee. Part of the problem that I heard was that it hasn't been taken up by committee. I'm a big believer in leadership by committee. And I think the committee can inform the group about having looked into this more, what changes, should there be modifications, that type of thing. But to me, doing a motion to refer to the committee seems appropriate, and it would express the will of this larger executive committee to the bylaws committee to take it up. And that doesn't mean, and my motion isn't that they take it up favorably or negatively or take any action except to consider and analyze it, which to me is the work of the committees and why they're there.
I would second that. Pam Klein.
Okay.
Point of order.
Yes.
These issues, the motion to refer is out of order. These issues have been referred to the committee of bylaws 4 times now, and they were referred last in summer of the last meeting. That is reflected in the minutes.
Okay.
Were they
well,
referred? Oh, I'm sorry, Chair.
They're in possession of the committee, and the committee the Rules and Bylaws Committee can choose to take that up when they do convene.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're very welcome. I'll withdraw the motion, Chair, if I might ask one question for point of clarification. Were these matters referred to the Bylaws Committee by this committee?
Every issue that would have been in this bylaws package has been affirmed by the state executive committee as something it wants 4 times. It was referred explicitly to the bylaws committee at our summer meeting last year.
Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that. Your Chair Pushkin, I'll withdraw my motion, and I appreciate that clarification very much.
And to expand on that clarification, all of the technicalities in these amendments have been affirmed by this committee of the whole executive committee 4 times.
Okay, Olivia?
Can I move to adjourn?
Yep, and that's not debatable. There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. I cannot thank you all enough. And the organizational meeting is scheduled for June 6th. And even those who aren't running for election, I'd invite you to attend. There'll be more information out soon. And anything else, keep an eye on your emails. We will be keeping folks updated and everything that goes on between now and then, as well as standing committee meetings. So thank you.